Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 22 in season number 6 of the NRLOA Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and it is the last race in the round of 12 in the season 6 Chick-fil-A Cup Series chase. We are here at the big, bad, fast Talladega Super Speedway for the Tractor Supply 500. A 38-lap race around this 2 2/3 mile speedway in Talladega, Alabama. And today we will be eliminating 4 more drivers from the chase. And that means that these guys are going to be racing very, very hard to make it in here today at the Talladega Super Speedway. Coming into today's event, Marty Johnson holds the points lead. He is 33 points ahead of the cutoff mark. Elijah Gordon is 28 points ahead of the cutoff mark. Isaac Nichols is 27 points ahead. Trey Bartow is 17 points ahead. Matt Delio is 14 points ahead. Al Lagacy and Caleb Hoffman are poles that are above 12 points ahead. Blaine Keys 7 points ahead of the cutoff coming into today's event. Now, the drivers that are behind the cutoff. John Arndt, 7 points behind. Same with Cameron Garlington, who is also 7 points behind. Daniel Bouchard in the number 11 is 13 points behind the cutoff. And Ace Garcia is 16 points behind the cutoff coming into today's event. Of course, if any of the chase drivers win here today, they are automatically locked on to the next round of the chase. And the top 8 in points will be the drivers making it on to the round of 8 here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season 6 chase. It's one of the biggest races of the season, especially when you consider the championship. An elimination race here today at the Talladega Super Speedway. It does not get any crazier than that, so let's head trackside to get these engines fired here for the Tractor Supply 500 at Talladega.
Drivers, start your engines!
And a fantastic command there to fire these guys up. Excuse me there for getting a frog in my throat. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, we're ready to get this one started. The cars will roll off, and starting on the pole position for today's event, it's Caleb Hoffman in his final ever season of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. He wants to continue on and get this championship in his final season, but he's only 12 points ahead of the cutoff. He will start first here today at the Talladega Super Speedway. Alongside him, it is part-time driver Colin Driver in the number 55. We got Noah Cars and Anthony Lopez in row number 2. Then a couple of chase drivers, Al Lagacy, Daniel Bouchard. Bouchard behind the cutoff coming into today's event. And a win would definitely be very welcome to this team. Row number 4, Trey Bartow, a chase driver, who is 17 points ahead of the cutoff coming into this race, alongside Daniel McMillan in the number 95. Row 5, it's Donovan Duthitt and Jordan Lopez in the number 17. We have ourselves Dale Salzman and Matt Tuck, Jay Jefferson, Derek Hamill, Jonathan King, Richard Kinghart. We got the 13 of Eli Bright and another chase driver in Cameron Garlington in the number 47. He is 7 points behind the cutoff coming into today's event. There's Ace Garcia in the 23, 16 points behind the cutoff coming into this race here at Talladega. There's Blaine Keys. He is 7 points ahead of the cutoff. Marty Johnson, the points leader, 33 points ahead. Elijah Gordon grabbed his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory here at the Talladega Super Speedway. He is 28 points ahead of the cutoff. John Arndt is 7 points behind. We got Isaac Nichols in the number 83, 27 points ahead, and Matt Delio in the number 88. He's 14 points ahead of the cutoff coming into this final race in the round of 12. After today, we'll be down to 8 drivers in contention for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Championship. So let's get this thing started. It's 38 laps around this 2 2/3 mile speedway, and it's going to be crazy. No pit stops in the race, so these guys are going to be racing for all 100 miles. Coming to the line, Caleb Hoffman and Colin Driver. We are racing here at the Talladega Super Speedway in the chase for Season 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Daniel Bouchard, who started on the outside lane in 6th position, will lead lap number 1. He's got Trey Bartow, Donovan Duthit, Dale Salzman right behind him. Pole sitter Caleb Hoffman falling back in the 14 on the outside lane. Of course, when we come here to Talladega, the one thing you gotta watch out for is 4 wide. And when they go 4 wide, lots of times they crash. And that's what makes this race very interesting. And this is an elimination race here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And who knows, they may get some of those guys who were on the bubble to get crashed out. And if that happens, their championship hopes might be done for the season. Dale Salzman in the number 96 to the inside of Donovan Duthit for the lead. The number 96 will take it away and lead lap number 2. Number 96 taking the lead away from Donovan Duthit there. Number 31, Jay Jefferson, won at Darlington earlier on in the chase. There's Jonathan King, Eli Bright. And right now, the highest chase driver in the field is Ace Garcia in the number 23, 16 points behind the cutoff coming into today's event. And he had the most playoff points beginning this round. So a very tough round for the number 23 team. BK Racing, the team that Ace Garcia drives for. His teammate Isaac Nichols doing very well this round, but Garcia, who has been one of the most consistent guys this season, definitely having a tough round here, and he's going to need something big to happen here today if he's going to make it into the next round. And around goes the 22, Adam Lewis, and the outside wall. Other drivers involved, I think the number 14 of Caleb Hoffman was involved, as well as Marty Johnson in the 32. Anthony Lopez, Colin Driver, the 19 of Richard Kinghart. Garrett Sonor may have gotten a piece of it as well. That is not good for Caleb Hoffman. He's 12 points ahead of the cutoff. He might not survive this crash. Coming to the line, Eli Bright, Julius Anderson. I believe the 20 of Julius Anderson will win the race back. And it will be Julius Anderson who will restart first when we get back to racing here at Talladega. Marty Johnson. Now this is a big one here. He's 33 points ahead of the cutoff. But obviously his day is done in the number 32 for Go Fast Racing. You see the 72 Anthony Lopez there. Hoffman's already in the pit lane. And I believe our pole sitter is going to be done for the day. And he may unfortunately be done for the rest of the season, at least championship-wise. That number 14 took a hard hit there as the 32 and the 22, I believe, got into each other. They were 4 wide back in there, and like I said earlier, 4 wide at Talladega just simply does not work. And these drivers showed us that right there. Let's see if anybody comes down the pit lane. Of course, it is a long race to go, 100 miles on 1 tank of gas, so you might see some guys top off here. But Jay Jefferson, Noah Cars, Matt Tuck, they should still be in contention for the win. They're just making sure they can make it on fuel to the end of the race. Matter of fact, when we came here earlier in the season, Isaac Nichols won this race. I believe he topped off on fuel under the first caution, so it might be a good idea to do that. Anyways, a massive crash involving 2 chase drivers, the number 14 of Caleb Hoffman and the number 32 of Marty Johnson. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution here today at the Talladega Superspeedway. Right here, Adam Lewis and Colin Driver just got a little too close to each other. You see Marty Johnson back in there get into the 55. They get into Jesse Turner a little bit, but Turner is able to avoid this. Same with John Arndt. And that's a big one there for the number 24 of John Arndt. He came into this race behind the cutoff. And one of those guys who was kind of close to the cutoff, Caleb Hoffman, was involved in this crash. So John Arndt, he squeaked by every single time. He might just do it again here today. But Colin Driver, Marty Johnson, Caleb Hoffman, those 2 guys right there, definitely the 2 biggest stories of this crash. And especially the 14 of Caleb Hoffman, because Hoffman was only 12 points ahead of the cutoff. And if we got guys like Blaine Keys, John Arndt, Cameron Garlington, Bouchard, and Garcia, if those guys finish in the top 20 in this race, they're going to have a good chance of possibly surpassing the number 14. Very tough break for those guys. Now, Marty Johnson, I would assume that he would be okay. He was 33 points ahead coming into this race. There is still a slight possible chance that he may not advance on. but I don't think he has to worry too much. But do not go off of that. You're going to have to wait until the end of the race to see what officially happens. But I think Marty Johnson will be okay in the points exiting today's event. Going to replay this crash in real time, following Adam Lewis in the 22 into the outside wall, collecting Marty Johnson, Colin Driver, Caleb Hoffman, and Anthony Lopez. And you see right there, two of the chase drivers. Anthony Lopez took a hard hit there with a 32 of Marty Johnson. Both Johnson and Hoffman will be knocked out, I believe, in this race, and they are both chase drivers. So we're going to have to watch and see how it all unfolds for those guys as the race goes along. So we're going to follow with these other chase drivers and see where they fall in relation to these other chase drivers in the field. And it's going to be a very interesting fight to the top 8 for these chase drivers here today at the Talladega Superspeedway. Anyways, after this commercial break, we'll be right back to the Talladega Superspeedway here for the Tractor Supply 500. The last race in the round of 12 in the Season 6 Chick-fil-A Cup Series Chase.
Just get home from school, you got nothing to do? Well then, turn on your computer and listen to the NRLOA podcast, where we bring you up to date on all things all stock car racing and NASCAR, and on your local short track near you. We'll have things such as Modified and Mock Series Corner, followed by PCS Rated WRLA, and so much more.
I think Elliott Sadler can probably win the race.
It's the NRLOA podcast every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com/MaxTheHedgehog77.
We are back here at the Talladega Superspeedway, ready to restart with 30 laps to go here in the Tractor Supply 500. A quick caution in this race involving two chase drivers, Marty Johnson and Caleb Hoffman. Now, Marty Johnson, we'll assume at this point that he's going to be okay, but for Caleb Hoffman, only 12 points ahead of the cutoff. His championship hope in his final season of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series may end here today. Anyways, Julius Anderson leads the field. Eli Bright, William Johnston, Reagan Whitlock, the highest chase driver in the field is Elijah Gordon. And somehow, someway, he just finds his way up front every single time. This number 5, definitely a strong contender for the championship, let me tell you that. He may be hoisting the trophy at Homestead. Chris Skidlart, Ricky Stevenson, another chase driver in Ace Garcia, Daniel McMillan, and Matt Delio in the number 88, rounding up the top 10 as a chase driver. And we're back to racing here in the Talladega Superspeedway for the Tractor Supply 500. 4 drivers knocked out after that accident: Richard Kinghart, Adam Lewis, Caleb Hoffman, and Marty Johnson holding the final 2 positions in the field, which means they're going to hardly get any points at all here today. So a huge opportunity for guys like Daniel Bouchard, Ace Garcia to possibly move their way into the top 8, considering Hoffman's struggles. Might want to watch for those guys. If they get in the top 5, they're going to have a good chance at advancing on. Anyways, for the lead, Eli Bright trying to take it back from Julius Anderson. Anderson nipped him at the line, coming to the line when that caution came out. But I do believe that the number 13 will take the lead and lead lap number 9 here at Talladega. Elijah Gordon is kind of Eli when you think about it, but the other Eli, I guess, Elijah Gordon in the number 5, taking second. Here comes Matt Delio in the number 88. He's going to take second away from his teammate, or at least attempt to. There might be another caution on the racetrack, and there is. So another quick one. Colin Driver and Jesse Turner involved in this one. I do not see any chase drivers involved this time. So that was a very quick caution right there. They only raced for a couple of laps. And here at Talladega, we don't normally get cautions to happen that close to each other, but that happened here today. So Eli Bright leading Elijah Gordon. They raced 1 lap under green, then the yellow flag flew again. I'm sorry, guys. Matt Delio's third, Julius Anderson and Jonathan King the top 5, and I believe it was Colin Driver and Jesse Turner that had a little incident on the racetrack. We'll see if any of these guys come down the pit lane, but I think they should all stay out. Considering that we got a second caution, they should all be able to make it to the end of the race without having to service their race cars for fuel. So considering that, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring up the second caution here in the Tractor Supply 500 at the Talladega Superspeedway. So this was the first lap after the restart, and they still found a way to go 4 wide. Al Lagasse in the middle of all this. Lagasse's only 12 points ahead of the cutoff. He's got to be careful here today. He had a little bit to do with this one. Jordan Lopez, Al Lagasse getting into each other there. Tristan Allen, he was the one that made it 4 wide, but he did not receive any contact. Lagasse and Lopez go to the apron. They spin the 43 of Jesse Turner around in the outside wall hard for the Richard Petty Motorsports driver. He won at Chicagoland in the last elimination race here. But it's not going to be a victory for him here today after this one, I believe. He got knocked out as number 55 of Colin Driver. He barely scraped him in the 43, and I'm actually quite surprised that Turner's going to get knocked out because I do not believe he hit the front end of his race car where the engine is. But still, the 43 done for the day here at the Talladega Superspeedway after this accident. Replay this one in real time following Jesse Turner in the 43. An unfortunate crash for him here. And John Arndt again. Look at that 24. He barely avoided this crash. It's the second time he's barely avoided something here today. I'm telling you, he's poised to make it to the next round of the chase. He just is after that. He really is. He's got to make it at this point. He just has to. Anyway, tough break for Turner and Driver. But this is the way it is sometimes. Eli Bright won the race back to the line. No commercial break. Let's get to the restart here in the Tractor Supply 500 at Talladega. Back here at Talladega, we will restart on lap 14 of 38 here in the Tractor Supply 500. And we have raced or run more caution laps than we have green flag laps in this one so far. But hopefully, it may be the end of the cautions here today. Lots of times it happens that way. When we get 2 quick ones, that's usually it. But this is Talladega. We still got quite a few strong drivers out there on the racetrack, so I would not expect it to be clean and green to the end. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Eli Bright leads the field in the number 13. Elijah Gordon, the highest chase driver. Right behind him, his teammate Matt Dalio in the number 88. And Dalio trying to make it into the Final Four for the 3rd straight season. The Season 4 champion, the Season 5 runner-up. He wants to be the champion yet again. Got Julius Anderson, Jonathan King, Ricky Stevenson, Dale Salzman, Richard, Chris Skinlart. You know, I get Richard Kinghart and Chris Skinlart mixed up a lot. Just a little thing there. Their names are kind of similar. Number 1 of Cody Sill and Daniel McMillan, I believe, round out the top 10. Coming to the restart here at Talladega, Jesse Turner got knocked out in the number 43, and so did Colin Driver, which leaves 34 drivers on the racetrack, and they are all on the lead lap as well. Number 13, out front, Eli Bright. Right behind him, it's the number 5 of Elijah Gordon, Matt Dalio, Julius Anderson. And they should stay single file here for this restart. Or at least they should avoid 4 wide. That's what I mean to say. They're not going to stay single file. What am I saying? This is Talladega. But they should not go 4 wide on this restart. For the lead, 2 teammates helping each other, getting it around Eli Bright. Elijah Gordon in the number 5, taking the lead away from the number 13. And here comes Matt Dalio in the number 88, running second. I do not believe Matt Dalio has ever won on a restrictor plate racetrack like Daytona or Talladega. He has won at Armory Digital in the Truck Series before, but not at either of the traditional racetracks that we go that normally run restrictor plates. Now, we take the restrictor plates out for these drivers, but still we consider them restrictor plate racetracks because that's what they are in real life. Matt Dalio was not able to lead that lap, but Elijah Gordon's going to be left to dry up on the outside lane. No help up there. And he's going to lose the lead from his teammate Matt Dalio. Here comes Julius Anderson in the number 20, trying to get to the inside of Matt Dalio for the lead. And he is going to be able to do so. Chris Skinlart, Cody Sill, and Ace Garcia trying to get into the next round of the chase. He's 16 points behind the cutoff, but a win would lock him on to the next round. Got Daniel Bouchard here as well. He's 13 points behind the cutoff. He also would love a win here at the Talladega Superspeedway to lock himself on. And Matt Dalio, as long as he has probably a top 15 finish, I think he should be good to go for the next round. I don't think he has too much to worry about if he has a strong day today. But for all these guys who are behind the cutoff running up front, they're all in the inside lane right now. Garcia, Bouchard, Garlington, and Arndt. Garlington comes into this race 7 points behind. He's moving his way up on the inside lane right now in the number 47. to the lead. Chris Skinlart in the number 21 trying to lead a second straight lap. Ace Garcia right behind him running in the second position. And there goes the 23 to the inside for the lead. And Reagan Whitlock here running second, or he will be running second once he gets around the 21 of Chris Skinlart. And Bouchard, he moved up to the outside lane. That is not what you want to do, especially late in the going in this race, because if you get stuck in that outside lane, you're going to fall back, and it's going to be very hard to get back to the inside. Cameron Garlington to the inside of Bouchard there. He's in 5th right now. And how about this? Reagan Whitlock, Jordan Lopez, they're going to go 3 wide for the lead as the 17 of Jordan Lopez goes to the inside of Whitlock and Garcia. Garcia gets hung to dry in the 23. He's going to fall back a little bit. And the number 17 of Jordan Lopez trying to win his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. Trying to get Luke Rainey his first win as the owner of Roush Fenway Racing. And we got more 4 wide back in here. Isaac Nichols in the 83 around with Noah Cars and Matt Tuck. Will the caution come out? Yes, it will. It took a while for it to come out there because they moved up the racetrack. But Noah Cars and another chase driver in Isaac Nichols, Ace Garcia's teammate, involved in this one, bringing out the 3rd caution of the day. Daniel McMillan taking the lead. These drivers moving up the racetrack through the corner. I'm not entirely sure why they're doing that, but McMillan will win the race back. We have more 4Y coming to the line. You gotta watch for this. Alexander Rowe in the middle of all this. Ryan Madden, Reagan Whitlock, Jordan Lopez. Hopefully they will figure it out, but they... oh my goodness gracious, they won't. Or will they? I think they figured it out. How in the world? They were about to crash there on the cooldown lap. But they all figured it out. I saw Alonso and Jake Jefferson almost get into each other. They did get into each other. What am I saying? They almost spun around and caused a huge crash, but all those drivers safe as the caution flies for the 3rd time today here at Talladega. Daniel McMillan, the winner at the Bristol Motor Speedway, at the beginning of the chase, won the race back to the line, and he led lap number 18 here in the Tractor Supply 500. Isaac Nichols, the first winner here at Talladega earlier this season, was involved with Noah Cars. They were 4 wide in the back. They just can't get away from being 4 wide. Now can they? A lot of caution so far here in the Talladega Super Speedway. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 3rd caution here in the Tractor Supply 500. Right here you see the 4 wide. Eli Bright in the middle of all this. Noah Cars and Isaac Nichols. They bump around a little bit there. Matt Tuck gets into the 83, which sends the 83 around into the number 3 of Noah Cars. Now, I do not believe the 83 is going to get knocked out, but Noah Cars might as he shot up the racetrack. The caution is still yet to fly at this point because they are not on the racing surface, but as the number 3 of Noah Cars comes up, he's sideways right at this point. He hits the wall, and right there, when he hits the wall, the yellow flag flies. Nichols around as well with rear end damage. I would assume that both of these drivers will be able to continue, but they definitely will not be in contention to win here today at the Talladega Super Speedway. Tough break for those guys. And kind of like with Marty Johnson earlier on, I don't know if Isaac Nichols has too much to worry about, but if he fails to finish outside the top 30, and, you know, guys like John Hart, Cameron Garlington, Daniel Bouchard, Ace Garcia, they're all in that lead pack. They all get a chance at all being in the top 10. If that were to happen, Nichols might have something to worry about. So it's going to have to keep a close eye on it. Of course, at the end of the race, after the race is over, you guys will see the official point standings after the last race in the round of 12. So you guys will officially know who makes it in and who gets knocked out. But anyways, tough one for Isaac Nichols and Noah Cars here, lap number 17 of the race. Going to replay this in real time following Nichols in the 83. The winner here at Talladega at the beginning of the season. I believe it was race 7. But this time, not going to be the case for the BK Racing driver of Isaac Nichols in the outside wall hard with Noah Cars. On board, the number 83 of Isaac Nichols for this accident. And go around here, bumping off the number 3 and going around in the 83. Up into the outside wall there, you feel the tap. The Tough break for Nichols, tough break for Noah Cars, but that's just what happens here at Talladega. Anyways, after this commercial break, we'll get right back to the restart here in the Tractor Supply 500 at the Talladega Super Speedway. The last race in the round of 12 in the Season 6 Chick-fil-A Cup Series chase.
While cars, tracks, and drivers may change, the smooth citrus taste that drives us remains the same. Only Mellow Yellow.
Back here at the Talladega Super Speedway, the number 2 of Tristan Allen is now the leader as Daniel McMillan, the driver who did win the race back to the line, came down and topped off on fuel. So you see him starting at the end of the field, but don't believe he'll have too much of an issue getting back to the lead if this thing stays green, especially Trey Bartow running in the second position. He is now the highest chase driver in the field. That's exactly what Bartow needs. He's 17 points ahead of the cutoff. As long as he finishes the highest chase driver, he's good to go to the next round. Cameron Garlington, he's 7 points behind, but he's running third right now. He's got a good chance at possibly advancing on. He's not won since he won the Daytona 500 at at the beginning of the season. My goodness, Garrett Tenore's not won since season number 4 at Atlanta. You got Ryan Madden, Reagan Whitlock, Jordan Lopez, Alexander Rowe, and Dale Salzman. Coming back to the restart here in the Tractor Supply 500, lap 22 of 38, now lap 23 of 38. And Trey Bartow trying to get a run on the outside of Tristan Allen, but that's a very tough thing to do here at Talladega. Bartow trying to race even with the number 2, but I do not believe it's going to work for him. So here comes Cameron Garlington. I believe he's going to get to the inside of Trey Bartow and take the second position away. I was talking like Cameron Garlington's not won since the beginning of the season. Garrett Tenore's not won since season 4. Well, this guy has never won before after racing since season number 3 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It's been a very long career for Tristan Allen without a victory, but he's leading right now here at Talladega. Of course, this is a Talladega Super Speedway, so you're not going to hold the lead for too long, but he's still in contention, still with a chance at getting it done. How about the Furniture Row Racing teammates? Nathan Stapleton, the owner of this team, running 1-2 right now, Reagan Whitlock and Ryan Madden. And now Whitlock taking the lead away from the 77. Alexander Rowe, William Johnston. Here comes John Arndt in the number 24. And John Arndt, 7 points behind the cutoff coming into today's event. Barely advanced onto the round of 12. He barely made it into the chase as well. Won in the final race of the regular season. He's looking to do the same here today, and he's right now the highest chase driver in the field in the number 24. Jonathan King in the number 33. Donovan Dufit. Daniel Bouchard on the inside lane. Bouchard needs a great run here today. Same with Cameron Garlington and Ace Garcia. There goes the number 24 of John Arndt to the inside, and that is not what Bouchard, Garcia, and Garlington want to see, because John Arndt, if he makes it on to the next round and he wins today's race by winning, moving on to the next round by winning today's race, that's going to make it a little bit harder for those other guys to possibly make it in. And this might make it hard for Daniel Bouchard. 4 wide right now. John Arndt in the middle of all this as he gets hung on the outside. And they're going to figure it out back to 3 wide here at Talladega. Great job by those guys avoiding yet another crash. But they're going to go 4 wide yet again. On the verge of our 4th caution here today, William Johnston and Cameron Garlington's in the outside wall hard. Ace Garcia, and it's a big one in turn number 1. Julius Anderson, Alexander Rowe, Dale Salzman, Ryan Madden, Zachary Fitzwater, William Johnston, Cameron Garlington, and Ace Garcia. And this is exactly what Caleb Hoffman wanted to see. Elijah Gordon with damage in the number 5. He's 28 points ahead of the cutoff, and I believe his day is going to be done. And Tristan Allen with damage in the number 2. Punch Me Harder. Alexander Rowe was involved. My goodness gracious, this race has just been insane. 4 cautions. I believe that might be a record for the Talladega Superspeedway here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Daniel Bouchard, he's still in this thing in the number 11, and so is John Arndt. So Caleb Hoffman still not quite in there yet, but Blaine Keys, he's also running very well in the 48. Haven't talked about him too much. He's 7 points ahead of the cutoff. He's right now in the top 10. The leader is Cody Sill, the All-Star Race winner. And then it's Chris Skinlart, and the highest chase driver is Matt Delio in the number 88. My goodness gracious. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 4th caution of the day here in the Tractor Supply 500. 4 wide yet again. The 4th caution of the race. Julius Anderson, Dale Salzman, Cameron Garlington, the chase driver who needed a good run here today, William Johnston, and you see these guys, they push down into Ace Garcia. That's going to be the end of Garcia's run for the championship. You see all these drivers involved, Fitzwater, Madden, Allen in the number 2, Julius Anderson up there on the 20, and they're all on the outside wall hard. Definitely the biggest crash of the day here at the Talladega Superspeedway. You see Fitzwater. Been a tough season for the 6-season veteran. Garcia, the Daytona 500 champion. Cameron Garlington involved. And I believe that's going to be the end of Garcia and Garlington. So there are 2 drivers right there that we know for sure that aren't going to make it onto the next round. That's going to simplify it for us. That's still a very tough break for those guys right there. Especially Ace Garcia had a really good regular season, but just a very tough round of 12, and it's going to end very abruptly here today at the Talladega Superspeedway. Replay this in real time following the Daytona 500 champion from earlier this season, Cameron Garlington in the 47 in the outside wall hard with a bunch of guys. Dale Salzman, the Coke 600 winner. Reagan Whitlock, Alexander Rowe, the Valvoline 400 champion. Ryan Madden with a piece of this one, Anderson, but the 2 biggest guys definitely Ace Garcia and Cameron Garlington. 2 chase drivers who came into this race behind the cutoff involved in this accident. Anyways, it's going to be a frantic fight to the finish. This thing has been ridiculous. 4 cautions, a lot like the Brickyard 400 on Sunday. But you know what? It's Talladega, and we have a Crash Fest race at Talladega. I'm not as concerned as it is when we have a Crash Fest race at another racetrack. So, hey, that's the way it is. I'm not doing anything different. They're just crashing more here today for some reason. Hopefully that'll be it. Hopefully we can race this thing to the end without another accident. But you never know. This is the Talladega Superspeedway, and you will find out what happens right now here in the Tractor Supply 500. Let's get to the restart here at Talladega. Well, more drama. Number 1, Cody Sill with an issue. While in the lead, he dropped to the apron down the backstretch. And when somebody does that, most likely they have an issue to their race car. I do not believe that the number 1 is out of fuel. That's a tough break for Cody Sill. Leading this race, had a chance of winning. It looks like his day might be done in the Chip Ganassi Racing machine. That's going to relinquish the lead to the number 21 of Chris Skinlart. Let's see what he does on the restart right now. Back here at the Talladega Superspeedway, we will restart with 8 laps to go in this race. And a lot of storylines going on in the chase, but right now we're going to focus on the race and who gets this victory. Chris Skinlart will restart first. Matt Delio running second in the 88. Great day for him. Exactly what he needed if he wants to advance on to the next round. He was not in a hole like he was at the end of round of 16, or coming into the final race of the round of 16, I should say, at Chicagoland. Finished 4th there. That's why he's in the round of 12, and it looks like he's going to advance on to the round of 8. Got Ricky Stevenson running in 3rd. John Arndt running in the 4th position. And considering the issues that a lot of guys have had here today, he might have a pretty good chance at advancing on to the next round yet again. Number 24, 7 points behind the cutoff, running 4th. Derek Hamill, Daniel Bouchard, still 13 points behind that cutoff mark. And then you got Jonathan King. Blaine Keys, a chase driver, with 7 points ahead. Dufit, Jefferson, and Grattan, the top 10, coming to the restart here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Actually, that's the top 11, but who cares? It's 8 laps to go here at Talladega in the Tractor Supply 500. Derek Hamill to the inside of John Arndt. And I believe Ricky Stevenson will get to the inside of Matt Dahlia. No, Dahlia's going to clear him here. I can tell. No, he's not. I thought Dahlia was going to go to the inside there and block the 38. Not going to do so quite yet. I'm wondering if this is a little bit of strategy on Matt Dahlia's part. Might not want to be up front quite yet. It's very easy to pass here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Very hard to hold your lead here at this racetrack. So Dahlia, he wants to be in the lead at the right time here today and get that victory here in the Tractor Supply 500. Skinlard still out front. Stevenson to the inside. They're going to be side by side at the line. Will the number 38 get him at the line? Yes, he will. So Stevenson leads it with 7 laps to go. Here comes Daniel Bouchard in the number 11. He's right now running in the second position. Jonathan King, Donovan Dufit, Jay Jefferson, Stuart Grattan, Daniel McMillan. Remember, under the third caution, he won the race back to the line, but he was the only guy to come down the pit lane that lap to top off on fuel. Well, he's back in the mix right now with a chance of winning this race. Trey Bartow as well in the number 4. Jordan Lopez in the 17. And speaking of the 4, he's coming down the pit lane. Something amiss on Trey Bartow's machine. Bartow came into today's event 17 points ahead, and he's down the pit lane with a possible issue to his race car. He might just be coming in to top off on fuel, however, because he did not show any signs of an issue on that race car. But this is not good at all for Trey Bartow, because he's not going to win this race. He might finish outside the top 25. I'm not sure if that's going to avoid him from making it on to the next round. But right now, it's not looking good for Bartow. They're not changing tires, and I believe he is going to go a lap down. Donovan Dufit out front. Here comes Stuart Grattan in the 37. And Grattan with a chance of winning this race. So is Daniel McMillan in the 95. And McMillan trying to grab his second win of the season. He's got a chance at doing so here today. But we got to talk about these chase drivers. A chase driver has yet to win a chase race this season. We got 4 of them in this pack right now. Matt Dahlia, Daniel Bouchard, Blaine Keys, and Al Agassi in the 34. Where's Matt Dahlia? He's on this inside lane now, moving his way through the field, but I think he's going to be too early to win this thing. I think the winner is probably on the back end of the outside lane right now. I'm going to say around here, Jalarvin Alonso and Chris Skinler. I believe it's going to be one of those 2 guys. My guess at the moment, it's going to cycle to one of those drivers. Let's not go 4 wide again, please. And they're going to figure it out. Fan it back down the 3 wide. Here comes Matt Dahlia, and he wants them to go 4 wide at this point, because if the caution were to come back out, that would end the race. So Matt Dahlia taking the lead away from Ricky Stevenson. He's going to have to fight hard if he's going to stay out front. How about the Roush Fenway teammates of Jordan Lopez and Garrett Zenor? Luke Rainey, the owner of this team, would love to get a win. He may be able to do so here today. Zenor to the inside of Lopez for the second position. On the inside lane, Matt Dahlia, Garrett Zenor, Matt Tuck, and John Arndt. And you also got Blaine Keys back in there as well. 3 of the Hendrick drivers on this inside lane with a chance at possibly winning this race. Trying to locate Trey Bartow. He is still on the pit lane, going multiple laps down now in the number 4. A very tough break for the Stewart Haas Racing driver. It looks like he's going to have a tough time advancing on to the next round. I'm not sure if he will or not. We're just going to have to see once we figure out the points at the end of the race. Dahlia going to get put 3 wide on the outside, and there goes his lead. There goes Matt Tuck to the inside of Garrett Zenor for the lead, coming to 2 laps to go here in the Tractor Supply 500. Now Blaine Keys, now Jay Jefferson, 3 wide for the lead. And at the line, Jefferson will lead it with 2 laps to go in the Tractor Supply 500. These guys are passing for the lead like crazy now. And it is crunch time. 2 laps to go here at Talladega and a win on the line. Highest chase driver right now is Blaine Keys in the number 48. but he's on the outside lane. He's going to lose that position very quickly. Jonathan King in the 33. Here comes Daniel McMillan. Hergelorv and Alonso and Daniel Bouchard in the inside lane. We're coming to the white flag here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Who's going to get it done in the Tractor Supply 500? King to the inside. McMillan to the inside. 3 wide for the lead with 1 lap to go at Talladega. Who's it going to be here in the Tractor Supply 500? Hergelorv and Alonso, the defending winner of this race, trying to go 2 in a row here at Talladega. The number 10 is going to get to the inside. Lapped car in the way. Anthony Lopez splitting the field. McMillan on the outside trying to get the run. Here comes Bouchard and then number 11. And Daniel Bouchard, a chase driver who needs a victory. Will he get this win? Or will it be Stevenson or Delio on this inside lane? There goes Ricky Stevenson to the inside of the number 11. Will Matt Delio get to the inside? No, he won't. Bouchard blocks Stevenson. And Daniel Bouchard will win here at Talladega as they hit a lapped car coming to the line. Oh boy. So excited I started gagging. Oh my goodness gracious. We will mute that, by the way. That was not a pleasant sound. Daniel Bouchard with the win here at Talladega. And with this win, he is on to the next round of the chase. He's going to be one of those 8 drivers battling for a championship. And so will Matt Delio in the 88, finishing 3rd here today. Trying to figure out other drivers that might make it on. I believe Blaine Keys is good to go. I think John R. has a pretty good chance. He was 7 points behind coming into today's event, but the number 24 finished in the 16th position, ahead of quite a few chase drivers, so I think he's going to have a good chance in making it on. But you know what? We're just going to have to see. I really don't know who's going to be eliminated at this point. It's just too much for me to call, but I do know this. That number 11 of Daniel Bouchard is in the round of 8, and you know what that did? That made it a lot harder for a lot of these other drivers who were kind of on the bubble there that crashed in this race to make it in, like Caleb Hoffman and guys like Trey Bartow. So I just don't know how it's going to be, but of course, you guys will see at the end of the video. Daniel Bouchard, the winner. Ricky Stevenson, Matt Delio, Hergelorv and Alonso, Jordan Lopez, the top 5. Bouchard, the winner here at Talladega, on to the next round of the chase. He becomes the first chase driver this season to win a race in the chase. And he's got a lot of momentum now for that Joe Gibbs racing machine. That's Josh Crash's first win as a team owner this season. That 4-car team has not won yet this season, but they finally have done it here at Talladega with Daniel Bouchard getting the victory in the Tractor Supply 500. You see Caleb Hoffman and Marty Johnson. I am fairly sure that Caleb Hoffman is done. So is Cameron Garlington. So is Ace Garcia. That other driver might be Trey Bartow, but I just don't know. We're going to have to figure out these points, and we will figure them out right after this. So, yeah. Congratulations to Daniel Bouchard on winning. I apologize there about me gagging. Of course, you guys did not hear that. I censored that out because that was not a pleasant sound. But, hey, that's how excited I was. It was a great race there. And Bouchard, I thought Stevenson was going to get the win. He was cutting to the inside, but Bouchard blocked him and kept the win, and he kept the spot in the chase here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season 6 chase. Let's go ahead and tally up the points to see who's on to the round of 8 here in the chase. And here is how they line up after the race at Talladega. And those drivers you see in green are the drivers who advance on. John Arndt did not have enough to advance on in the 24. And Trey Bartow barely did. But if you see the playoff points, that's what made the difference. Bartow would not have advanced on if it were not for his playoff points. But because of those 15 bonus points he had, Bartow able to make it on to the next round and stay in the hunt for the championship. So John Arndt, Cameron Garlington, Caleb Hoffman and Ace Garcia, the drivers eliminated from the round of 12. It's a tough one for Garcia. You see the amount of playoff points he had, 20 of them. And Caleb Hoffman, his final season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, unfortunately, it will not end in the championship like it did for Tyler Selzman last season. But still a great run for him this season. Still might get another win before the season ends, and we'll still make that final race. Still make this rest of the season special for him. Definitely one of the biggest names of this series, and going to be only 4 more races until he's done in this series, and quite possibly done racing on Napa Fan. But anyways, Matt Delio, Isaac Nichols, Daniel Bouchard, Elijah Gordon, Al Legacy, Marty Johnson, Blaine Keys, and Trey Bartow advance on to the round of 8. And one of those 8 drivers will be your champion in season number 6 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Congratulations to Daniel Bouchard and his victory here today at the Talladega Super Speedway. And here are the updated point standings heading into the round of 8 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season 6 chase. Next race is going to be at the Kansas Speedway. And it's going to be the Rockingham Motor Speedway next Saturday, and then Phoenix. And then we will determine the final 4 drivers. And then we determine the champion at Homestead 2 weeks from now, right here on Napa Fan. Thank you guys very much for watching. Congratulations to our 8 chase drivers who advanced on to the next round. And I will see you guys later.